Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, January 6th meeting of the Steamship Authority Port Council. I'll read a couple of announcements and then introduce my colleagues. First, I would like to inform everyone that Sean Driscoll, the authority's communication director, is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. Is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself. If you are joining virtually, please press the raise your hand icon on the Zoom dashboard, or if you are joining by telephone, by pressing *9 on the keyboard, the keypad. And when you are recognized, please state your name for the record. Thank you. Anyone recording?
Yeah. Jason?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Jason Graziade, Nantucket Current.
Thank you.
Morning, Jason.
And Louisa?
Good morning. Yours truly, Louisa Hufstadter, the Vineyard Gazette.
Well,
I love it.
all right. Then reading our opening statement pursuant to section 20 of chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 as amended. Some Port Council members are participating remotely in today's meeting because their physical attendances today would be unreasonably difficult. All Port Council members in attendance and all members participating in the meeting by the Zoom video conferencing app will be clearly audible to each other. As a result, members' remote participation in this meeting, any and all votes taken by the members today shall be by roll call vote. And those members include Robin Year.
Morning.
Morning. Eric Twicke.
Morning.
Joslito.
Morning.
Craig.
Morning.
Matt Lowell.
Here.
And John Cahill.
Tisbury here.
Tisbury. I'll get that eventually.
Cahill here.
Thank you. We're going to shuffle things just briefly a little bit. Let's go ahead and dispense with the minutes if we can first. Those were sent out in our packages for the December 9th joint meeting that we had in public session. Any comments or questions on the minutes as drafted?
So moved. Well done. Well done minutes.
Yeah.
Excellent minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep. Motion by Joslito, second.
Second.
By Rob. All in favor, Rob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And John?
Hi.
So we're gonna,
And Gordon, you vote aye as well.
and I vote aye as well, sorry, yeah, that's somebody's paying attention.
All right, that's good for me.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we're gonna shuffle things just briefly. Tisbury has a prior obligation that he has to get to. So I'd like, if possible, just to move item A3, the reservation system update to first so that John can participate in that. And then we'll resume to the regular order of the agenda. Mark, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Oh, and for purposes for everyone in the room, we're joined by Terrence Keneally, Mark Rosen, Mark Amundson, Zach Lawrence, Paul Hennessy, and Janice Kennefic, and Allison Fletcher. And I'm sorry, Steve Boland, thank you very much. Mark?
Good morning, everyone. Want to bring Tom Ennis over from Gibbous, and we're going to be doing a presentation on the status of the new reservation system. And Tom, want to take it?
Yep. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Great to see you all. Yeah. So we're very pleased to share the continued progress on the reservation system. We've had some tremendous interest in the beta testing group. We've gotten actually over 60 different folks have volunteered to be part of the beta testing. And so we've now been adding them to the list of folks to be contacted as we're scheduling meetings. So at this point we are trying to finalize on the next slide, trying to finalize the requirements, working with IDEA on the solution, and they have switched into the solution design phase. This is as planned, that the solution design phase is supposed to last until it's scheduled until the end of February. so much to do in terms of nailing down the final kind of elements that we need in the system, as well as a combined project plan. And the intent is at the end of the solution design, once we know all the components going into it, clarified all the integration, all the different vendors, that at that point we can have a consolidated plan and a finalized launch date. So we still have the same preliminary plan in terms of launching this fall with the full go live in January of 27. But this is where we're trying to get on the same page in terms of a really clear, doable, actionable plan. In order to do that, we have a lot of policy changes that we're planning to bring to the Port Council, bring to the board. And to inform that, we're having the second in the series of town hall discussions that we're planning. We're trying to finalize dates right now, but trying to have those starting the 21st of this month. And we'll be bringing to those meetings a set of draft policy changes for review, for discussion, in order to then bring them to the Port Council and the board for review. Our plan is actually prior to those meetings to release a draft to the Port Council and the board to be able to review those, ask questions, and be part of the refinement process. I've mentioned in the past that this project is much more than a reservation system. It's part of the reason why it's the True North system. There's a lot of just operational components to this, trying to look at, where do we need to kind of streamline policy? Where do we need to update policy? Where do we need to codify areas where the there may be some, some policy, policy differences, or at least operational differences across some of the terminals, and trying to align those. So it's a balancing act. We're trying to make sure that we respect and preserve the needs of the Vineyard route, the Nantucket route, but then also looking at how policy is then implemented through the reservation system. So just a lot going on there. And so in terms of upcoming activity, we'll be working with Adia on the solution design. We'll be finalizing the procurement plan for the number of different components that are going to go into this. And then looking forward to, numerous discussions over the next couple of weeks as we refine some of these elements.
Thanks, Tom. Questions, comments from the council?
Yeah.
Mr. DeWitt.
Tom, you just mentioned more procurement for implementation. Could you explain that to us and the public?
Yeah. So there are a number of different pieces that are getting updated. There's a number of different. I did mention that in this update that there's a huge amount of infrastructure that's being updated to make sure that we're ready for the new system. And so, for instance, we are in the process of updating all the ticket scanning, the hardware for ticket scanning at the terminals. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we've got the Wi-Fi working. So upgrading the Wi-Fi, that means that we need to some of these things have already been put out to bid. Some of these things still need to be put out to bid, but we need to upgrade things like the low voltage cabling, also the electrical cabling, so that the nodes for all the Wi-Fi components are all working. We're also looking at updating the readers. So right next to the bridge, the actual ticket reader. So upgrading the hardware there so that when we go with the new system, new barcodes, the new app, that all of it is ready to go and seamless, and there aren't any infrastructure things holding back the use of the reservation system because we want to make sure that if we could have a really amazing reservation system working, but if we don't get that endpoint working too, and so some of those things have already been purchased. Some of those things are planned to be bid and purchased throughout this year.
Is there a preloaded budget for that, or are we just winging it here?
I'll take that. Some of the items were, there was an original estimate that Tom and Stephen worked with the hardware, but until knowing what equipment or what devices, because we didn't know what the vendor was, they couldn't be decided on. Now that we have a procurement meeting, excuse me, the IT executive steering meeting next week, we'll be going over the procurement plan of all the items that are on the list. So some of the items, some scanners were compatible, some was more cloud-based for on-site premise. We weren't sure when we originally put the RFP out what solution we were gonna get.
Do we have a projected budget or?
I can get back to you after the meeting. I think we have 10, I believe, top of my head, but I don't want to be told that I'm sure going by memory, but.
Yeah, just like that, and as obviously at Woods Hole, we've done a lot of the the wiring is new, but we're adding additional readers so that we can be very efficient at getting people on and off the vessel quickly. Now, the other terminals, we need to do some rewiring of fiber optic cables and power cables to different new stations. So we want to be in a position, we get this new system to have the infrastructure match it so that we're going forward in a very positive direction.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm not sure who the question should be directed to. But just curious about, I noticed on the matrix, the assignments, everybody who's got different roles to play. That's a nice mechanism for, management, but could you provide a little bit of a summary of the management structure for this project? Obviously we have True North as a key supplier, but what is the overall sort of management structure for how we're running this? And I'm sure there's probably a wiring diagram somewhere, but maybe just to articulate a little bit for our benefit. I mean, we've probably been through this, but it's been some months, and when I see that, when it counts to a racing matrix, it's nice to see how would that fit the overall project management structure.
Yeah, I'll start off, and Tom and Mark, feel free to, I'm the project sponsor. We have Gibbs is the project management, the PMO. Mark is, he's got accounting, and he's, great support structure in it. Tom, do we have anything we can put up there on our structure, how this project is laid out?
Yeah, let me grab that. Just give me a minute to bring up the latest. But yeah, so there's the IT steering, which is the combined, as Mark mentioned, the combined board and port council oversight. Then there's the working group project team. So the internal working group is made up of Steamship leadership. There's then a series of sub-teams that we've presented in the past. So focused on the customer experience, the commercial experience, the technical, and then each one of those teams is then leading different components of the effort. So right now we've been having much more of the focus being on the kind of expanded internal team working with the IDEA vendor, but we're still following that structure, and then all of the different vendors, a lot of them are coming up through the IT sub team.
So the leadership team on the Steamship would be Mark Munson as the project sponsor, myself, Allison, Stephen Coleman. And then we go to the operations side, and that group expands with Paul Hennessy from the vessels, Angela Campbell from the Reservation Department and Kelly Conner from the Accounting Department. As far as with the working group going over the policy procedures, then each person in the department then filters down to get input from their team to feed into that project. So that's the high level as far as on the race goes. That's where then each group, so if there's a meeting about, say, doing the bulk reservations, that would go through Mark as the COO, and then Allison, Angela, and then her team in the reservation department, and then the terminal people, and if needed, input from the vessels. But that's really booking the reservations as compared to the loading. So if there's a meeting on the loading, then it would be the frontline, Allison, and whether it's the terminal managers, getting their input and all the vessels and how the loading of the vessels, the manifest and things like that would work. So we have a high level of all the pieces, then each group then is responsible on that chart, working with their team to make sure that's deliverable. So for instance, on my team this Friday, we're setting up a meeting to go over the flow of the integration from the reservation system. When this transaction occurs, it goes into liability for a prepaid save through the Reservation Bureau. And then when the ticket's used, then it goes from a liability to revenue, what GL's hitting, et cetera, et cetera. So we're mapping that out so that our partner on the accounting side can receive that information automatically instead of us manually posting it. So every transaction, there's an interface at the end of the day to post right to our GL.
Do you guys have a risk matrix, list of risks that you're sort of using as a checklist about that you can identify as potential risks to either cost, budget, schedule, technical, and then you can retire those risks as as you're able to?
Yeah, Tom, you want to talk about that? You want me to tackle that? You want to tackle that? Or, on the risk, when we have like the project, the green, yellow, red, where it's standing, and then we'll deep dive, why did that turn and what's it gonna take to get it back? I think Tom could, that's what Tom does for a living.
Yeah, so if you go to actually if you could bring back up the project dashboard.
Yeah.
So we've identified several key risks if you can see in the lower left-hand corner in terms of key risk issues and areas where we need to do continuous resolution. So resource capacity, the current unclear or undocumented policies, change fatigue, and then staff training. These are the major ones that we're focused on. Of course, there's there's vendor management, making sure that we're staying up on timelines, all that. But these are the ones that we've identified as being particularly high risk to this project. Just the resource capacity, making sure that there's enough time, both with the IT group, maintaining the legacy infrastructure, while also trying to implement this new system or set of systems. And then operations capacity, it would be lovely to pause operations, implement the system, and then start again, but we don't have that option. And then one of the ones that we're really working through these last couple months are the just policy and making sure that policy is updated, making sure that we're clear on how things, how things are written today, how they are actually working today, any workarounds that were, created because of some of the legacy technology pieces, and then making sure that we've clarified that so that then we can communicate it outwards. Change fatigue is a major one, both internally and externally, and that's part of the reason for the continuous engagement with the public. And then staff training, because as we've shared in the past, because the core reservation system is quite it's quite an old system, that it's not a modern interface, and so getting folks to trained up, be able to use this new platform it's it's going to be a major effort, and to make sure that everybody's ready for that, you know, for the phased rollout.
Thanks. I have one last question on this line, if that's okay. And that's, do you guys have a cadence of periodic, quarterly, bi-monthly, sort of status of the overall project, where you bring the team together and you say, okay, here are all of the pieces, and here's where we stand, and you then can identify the emerging risks and retire the old risks, sort of an all hands approach?
Yes, we do. John, would you have available that slide with the,
So which slide? I mean, so we're coming together on a so we're coming together internally on a weekly basis. That's the internal working group. And then coming together now on a monthly basis as the IT steering group.
I think on the project timeline, slide on project timeline?
I'm good with that,
Yeah, and additionally, we're giving updates to the Port Council and the board meeting, so 3 times a month will be updated.
My whole, point for asking these questions is about, this is a complex project. Project management is absolutely key to delivering this, even though there's a lot of technical aspects and financial aspects. This requires sophisticated project management. It sounds like you have a lot of those processes in place. That's great. And I think it would just be good to reinforce that and to revisit it periodically, because we know this is a high profile project and a lot of attention.
And knowing that, that's why we have the IT steering committee, where we really haven't had an outside committee that meets publicly on a project like this before, because as you're saying, it's a complex project that affects every single one of our customers, and
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, no problem.
I had a quick question for Thomas, I guess. What do you envision would the phase rollout would look like? What is the general plan for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So so what we're planning to do is it's really two major steps. So it's a leveraging IDEA's language, R1 and R2. So the first rollout would be that the system goes live for reservations. And so the plan is for that to happen at the shift from the summer to the fall season. That's what we're still planning for now. But what that would mean is that during the fall season, if you're making a reservation for today, you're going to go into the old system. You're going to get a ticket in the old system. When you go to the terminal, your ticket will be the current ticket, and that's what you'll have in hand. That's what gets scanned. If you want to purchase a ticket for January for the next season, for the winter season, you're gonna have I don't know if we'll make it red, but there'll be a big button to say to buy a ticket in the new system. That'll take you over to the new system. So the R1 rollout is just ticket purchase, ticket management, but but that's for future dates. And then the R2 would be when we do the cutover and so this is planned for January, where both you would purchase the ticket in the new system, and then that's also the ticket that's getting scanned at the terminal. So essentially, the R1 rollout is the back end rollout with the web experience, but nothing at no change at the terminal. And then the R2 is when we shift over to using the new system for terminal operations. We think that this is a good approach. Of course, that's why we're planning to do it. But it allows us to go have that R1, get people using the new system, get people updating their accounts in the new system, getting used to the new system, but not yet having travel dependent on the new system. And then once we know that's all working really well, have that going for a few months. So essentially having the two in parallel, then switch over to the new system at that R2 date.
That window is a low volume window, the booking starting, let's say November 1st, just for date's sake. Booking January 3rd, that's probably our latest booking window too as well, so it's a really smart way to.
It's a good timing for it.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Other questions? Oops, sorry, Tom.
to respond to a previous question, if I could just project a slide. So this was shared in the April project steering meeting. So we have the board subcommittee, we have the internal working group. The project sponsor here is now, has been mentioned, has gone from Mark Rosem to Mark Amundsen. Gibbous as the project management office, and then the core project teams, the technical operations, focus on customer and terminal experience, operations focus on the commercial experience, and then the accounting. So apologies to accounting. I missed accounting the last time I mentioned this.
Hey, Tom, if I may, just want to add that I believe Peter Jeffries has already talked about this, that we're going to add members to the steering committee. Are you aware of that, or Mark might be aware of it?
Yes. So I believe
Rob?
I believe that was announced in the previous board meeting.
Yes.
That the committee is now being expanded, and several members were identified, and have been willing to step up. So thank you all.
Yeah.
And we if there's anything that I mention in these updates that is unclear or you want us to dig into further, we really appreciate the feedback, really appreciate the commentary, the questions. We're trying to be as transparent as possible with this project, where we are, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so, any support, feedback, we really benefit as a project team.
We can update the slide for next month's meeting.
Excellent. Other questions or comments from the council? So Tom laid out a pretty aggressive time schedule. As you said, the steering committee is scheduled, we're trying to schedule a meeting for next week. I gather the board is looking at a possible joint meeting of the council and the board, sort of strategic plan style, to go over some of these large and somewhat complicated policy questions that need to get addressed. I believe the thought right now is to do that on Tuesday the 20th in the afternoon after the board meeting. So I just want to take the temperature of the board council, looking 2 weeks out from today, what your availability might be for participation in that. That will precede the town halls that Tom was talking about. So really helpful, I think, to get as much input from the board and the port council prior to that public conversations. I am available on the afternoon of the 20th at blocked off, but want to just check with all of you. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to the chairman position. Is this going to be in person?
I think it'll need to be hybrid at least.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to, just say that I have, want to come over,
Yes.
Don't want to see you all and all that, and get a blueberry muffin or something. But look, I think I just want to just kind of like go over the last couple months of all this, 3 months, whatever it is. I think there's been a pretty good, that last meeting over here was good, because I think the team involved is figured out some of the nuancy stuff that people are worried about. And Allison knows what I'm talking about, the nuancy stuff. Those people that were in that room, that's the old God people. Like they want to be able to do what they've always been doing. Whether the system is today's system, tomorrow's system, or the system we had with the rubber ball and they slammed the thing down on the ticket. And that's how it used to be. So they want it to be seamless. And I think that everybody that's involved understands that now, with the different nuances between the Vineyard and Nantucket regarding whether it be residents, whether it be seasonal cars, whether it be the bulk system people, etc. You know, the goal of this is to get into the 21st century, but it also is to fill the boats and do a better job of getting these boats filled with reservations, but not overbooking simultaneously, which is another whole topic that is, you know, you got to kind of know what that means when that happens occasionally. So that's all I have. I think we've moved pretty well with this. I don't think we need to overcomplicate things, but I also think that all the nuancy stuff that people have learned that are involved in this, I think is the most important piece, is to make sure that we cover everything. That when this happens, and I know it's happening in the fall, late summer, fall, which is good. That's what we want. We want it to happen when it's a little slower and things can work, where there's problems that the agents can deal with issues. If something happens with somebody's reservation that's at the boat, let's say, then something's wrong, that kind of thing, where everybody that's involved understands what to do. So that's my only comment, general comment on this, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I think that's the whole point of this in the town halls, to really unearth all of those in the no surprises category of planning. So, all right. So with that, stay tuned. I think if the board does choose to move forward with a special session on the 20th, we'll know about it. We'll find out the time. So to the extent that you can hold harmless the afternoon of the 20th, as board counsel for either a hybrid or an in-person conversation, I think that would be.
Is that the same day as the governor's meeting?
Yeah, so the governor's meeting in the morning, then we'd have kind of like the strategic plan in the afternoon.
And is that here or is it gonna be in Hyannis?
That's here.
It's scheduled for a year.
Yeah,
okay.
probably gonna do hybrid for the afternoon session.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have FCTV here for the board meeting, so we'll be able to do
For the full
quality
hybrid.
audio and visual stuff, so it'll be able to be done hybrid if that's what is decided.
Excellent. All righty, thank you. If nothing else on the reservation system, Tom, thank you. I don't know if you're sticking around. And let's return to the normal order. For the manager report, Mark, I'm assuming you're picking that up from here with the Monomoy?
Yes, so we're gonna do Monomoy. Would that bring in Zach Lawrence up to the presentation? Yes.
You can see my eyes.
Terry, you bring it up.
Oh, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
I'm becoming
an old park here.
What's this? I forgot to do a hockey park.
Morning, everyone. Morning. Good morning.
Morning, Zach.
Hello. All right. So here's our update for the Monomoy. Here is a photograph of the forward console and wheelhouse and everything powered up and ready to go. This is ahead of one of their sea trials. And here's the aft console and the SS United States in the background. Photograph of the after house of the Monomoy, all the coating, safety equipment, everything in place. And so everything from propeller shaft installation to stability test complete. This slide is slightly dated as of today, so we have production pilots scheduled for 4 o'clock this afternoon. The items for sea trials and COI are now complete.
gonna add, that's the departure. and
Right.
To head the.
Yeah, to bring it home,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah, that's, don't bury the lead, Zach. That's
Sorry.
good news. Yep, no, that's good.
It's not the pilot voted to land at 4 o'clock, so that we can bring her north.
It's exciting.
And so, financial snapshot for the entire project at Quinta Barnstable and Monomoy. Payments made to date were at 85.84 million. Outstanding commitments and allowances 226,000. And our current estimate is 87 million. For the total project. With that, I'll take any questions.
Just like to add on the positioning voyage going north, we stopping at Tampa, for fuel for Everglades and North Carolina and Morehead City. Then we'll run line straight over to Fury. That's the intent. Weather permitting, that's the intent.
Approximately 9 or 10 day voyage.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, is there, you have a line of sight on arrival time?
Approximately 9 to 10 days, but without any weather stops.
Let me know, I'll watch the cameras since you're coming into the harbor.
Very well.
That's great.
Don't forget to take all the spare parts from down there. Get everything you can.
Thanks. Questions on the Monomoy for Zach?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes. Great news.
I just had,
Yeah, talking or whatever.
just a quick question. Assuming, some of the things we learned on the first two, these were all incorporated into this final vessel?
I would say that approximately 75%, we were able to capture about 75%. You know, within reason. We still have a little bit of work to do in Fairhaven to get her ready for service. And once we get her into our sector, our local Coast Guard will go to the boat. People more than likely have a small work list to get her.
Smaller than like the first boat, right? Yeah, great, thank you.
And actually, you have to put what they call a skeg or whatever that is on the bottom of it. Have they done that already? Are you gonna wait and see?
So the Monomoy did get the skidding extension. That is complete.
Excellent. And the propeller pitch, all the stuff we've learned, right? With the other two. Awesome.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, Zach, very much. Now for the terminal reconstruction update.
Morning again, this is the Woods Hole construction project. Let me bring that up. And an overhead view of the, sorry. An overhead view of the main terminal building, picnic building. Next slide. This is the new building for the utility, all the utilities, so it's near completion. Right now, we're anticipating an occupancy permit in the end of the month of January. Slide. There's some pictures, very well done up. We are at the end of this aspect of the utility. Slide. Picture of the plumbing, final cleaning and installation, final fire detection in the data room. This is some exterior position, work on the terminal building, including lifting final stones in place. Next slide. Pipe fitters installing HVAC and water tanks in the mechanical room at the terminal building. Slide. Just more interior work in the terminal building and restroom area. Next slide. There's some sprinkler heads being installed and fire protection systems. Next slide. I think this is a good view of where we are right now, or the interior is making really good progress. Get the all the USB ports and internal wiring complete before the walls go up. Slide. Of course, the rough electrical wiring throughout the terminal building. Next slide, and this is a view of the outside area on the west side of the building. Next slide. PVC for all the conduits for data connections. Next slide. And here we've done right now, we're working in the final phase of the leveling in front of the building to the water side. Phase A and B are done, and we're looking at completing the final phase of that on Friday of this week. This is kind of a view prior to the buildup of the area with the A, B, and C functions and the leveling off between the terminal and building. So as of right now, the original project estimate for this part of the project is 32.1 million. We've had 1.19 million in change orders, which equates to 3.7%. And the status is, I'd be willing to take any questions from here.
When is gonna be the date for the opening?
Right now, we're looking at sometime mid-May, the end of May, but it's for the opening of the buildings.
It is.
It is, but it's beautiful.
Oh, excellent. Yep.
Mark, what have you guys learned lately about the flow of not just traffic, but the flow of the vehicles that are getting staged and then on the vessels relative to the layout and things like that?
Yeah,
we do there?
Yes, we're working right now. We should be receiving this month the circulation drawings. We've done a circulation study of the flow in the areas. So we'll have more to present at the next meeting on that.
Any particular issues that are sort of sticking out?
Yeah, there's a few, but they're minor in nature, and we're working with the town and the village of Woods Old. There's some egressing coming out of various areas, and we still need this, and storm drain issues we're tackling.
All right, we'll look forward to that report.
That's the February meeting. We'll get the circulation report. Okay, great. Other questions from the council? Great, good progress. Look forward to seeing it. Look forward to the circulation report too. It'll be interesting to see. Thanks, Mark. What do you have next on your manager report?
That's me, the preseason.
Oh yeah, the promotion of the proposed preseason promotion.
So good morning, everyone. I'm here to ask for a vote on approval of the high-speed passenger ticket sale preseason book that we do every year. This has been going on now 14 years, and we offer a 20% discount on the sale of high-speed passenger ticket books prior to the return of the INO. It's very popular. About half of the yearly ticket book sales take place during this period. In 2025, we sold 4,173 ticket books, generating just over 1.1 million in revenue at a cost of about $275,000 due to the discount offering. It's been strong for several years, so that total was down a little bit from the prior year, but this is was still an above average year for the event. So this year we're proposing the same discount of 20% to start Sunday, March 22nd and ending Saturday, April 4th. The INO comes back Monday the 30th. Question mark, anybody? Yes, all right, I see some nods, so I assume I'm there. Yeah. Am I right now?
Yeah, can I just ask a question, Sean? I'm getting so many messages on my phone. I've lost the packet email for a second. What is the dates, if you don't mind me asking? Because I do have a new request of this program. Just see if everybody understands what I'm talking about with this.
We're proposing Sunday, March 22nd through Saturday, April 4th. So we usually do it starting, 2 weeks prior to start, incorporating when the season actually begins.
Okay, that's. Let me look at my calendar here. So March what now? 22nd. That's a Sunday.
March 22nd is a Sunday. It's usually a Sunday to the following Saturday.
So in light of, how do I say this the right way? Anyone that's been here a while will know what I mean when I say the goal of this today is to make sure everyone that lives here at least has one book from this program to save that 20%. There's always people that don't remember to get on and get the books. You know, they just forget. I mean, I don't know what to say. You know, with all the communication we have today, somehow this still gets lost in people's lives. It kills me when somebody can't get this book that wants one. I don't care if they want 1 or 100, doesn't matter. I think we should do it maybe a little earlier, maybe 4 or 5 days earlier. End it on the 4th. When are we coming back to service?
Monday, March 30th.
Excellent. So it's not coming back on, like, you know, sometimes we come back on the wrong day of, like, timing wise. So that's good. Okay. I didn't look at any of this stuff yet, so I didn't know what the date was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's fine the way it is, but I just think we should add a few days to make sure everybody gets that opportunity to get these books, because prices have gone up on both boat lines. Obviously, you know that. And so I just feel that it's important. And this also includes, if everybody doesn't know this, this includes children's books and senior books too, and all of that. So it's all packaged into the same system.
Nat, if my recommendation would be, if you wanted to add some time, let's add it to the back of it. That it's the sale is ongoing for a little longer while the boat is back in service.
Oh, you want to go the other way?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Okay.
the boat being in service gets a lot of people's attention.
That's
So-
right.
Yeah. That's a good point. I was afraid to even bring that up, but that's good. That if you guys are okay with that, I think that that's a great idea.
What,
Yeah.
3 weeks or move the 2 weeks? Yeah, we can try it for 3 weeks this year and see how it changes. So we'll go the 22nd to the 11th of April.
I like that idea better, actually, but I just didn't think that you would want to do it. So
I mean, let me throw it over to the account.
I think about the sharpening pencils. I hear the sharpener every time I mess something up. So
Let's do it for the first year. Every rider we have on the IANA we're not at capacity all the time, which is great. And other suggestion would be if we can leverage the people who already have existing books to put reminders out that the new books
So
are
I was
on
gonna say,
sale.
why not put an ad in the local newspapers on Nantucket?
We do that.
it
And text
needs to be more than that.
Text everybody.
Yeah, but if we have our database of customers who have existing books, and if we can pull a query of the emails of people with existing books and put a reminder out, then
Yeah.
you see, if
So-
there's another that we can get, to accomplish what Mr. Lowell was asking.
And that, what Mark just said, actually, is the nuts and bolts piece. I didn't sort of bring up that everybody that has books, this is another component. The first year we did this, nobody had this, so it didn't matter. So let's say a family has 2 books left, and they don't even know what they have left. They might not realize how many tickets. They have to get out and find out, whatever. They might buy 2 books this year, and next year they may buy 3. You know, it depends on what they already have left over from the year before. So that's another whole big piece, and that's actually a better reason to make it go after instead of before the date. So that's good. Thank you, Mark, for that point.
Okay, so we can then extend it to Saturday, April 11th. That sound good, Nat?
Sure. That's great. I so appreciate it. Thank you for this.
And then we'll do an analysis, a 2-week sale versus 3-week sale, and see how the books are sold, and then see if the raw number, did it differ, did it just move everyone to later
The
on?
last minute, right?
So we'll do an analysis after,
It's
see how it works.
the same sales over 3
So
weeks.
this is a crumb issue, Mark. Okay. You know, I put this in the crumb list. I mean, this is important where nobody's going to be able to say they didn't know. That's my biggest problem with this, is like people that say, oh, I didn't know. It's like you feel like an idiot. You know what I mean? When that happens. And it's always somebody that needs the ticket financially. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you very much for that
Is there any
recommendation.
way that they can keep tabs of these tickets on their phones?
Yeah.
To know how
You
many?
can log into your account. you can see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
books.
and how many tickets you have left? Okay.
Yeah.
we'll give you an analysis, how many different profiles booked it, what percentage for each day, and then we'll see.
Yeah,
where we
the
go.
profile is different for these than it is for your automobile.
So we're looking for a vote on this.
Well, and real quick, Mr. Chair, if I could just ask a real simple question, what is our goal to discount these books?
I'll answer that for him. That's easy. Where's my little thing? My hand thing. Eric, to answer that is this idea came from the previous manager of the Nantucket Highline Terminal. I was in the A&P of downtown Stop and Shop one day, and she came over to me. She's now the assistant town clerk on Nantucket, and came up with this idea. And when we brought it to Steamship, the pencil sharpeners were running, okay, fully running. But what it does is it gets more volume on the I&O potentially than just the people saying, well, I have the other books, I'm just going to, you know, not use the I&O as much as I would normally if I had these tickets. It's like the old days with the airlines. You had two books. You had the Island Air books and the Cape Air books. And you just walked into the airport and said, which plane leaves next? That's kind of how this works here with the fast ferries. It's whatever the timing of the trip is. But if the people that live here don't have these books, they're less likely to use the steamship fast ferry system is part of their system. They may leave on the steamship, come back on the Highline, or leave on the Highline and come back on the steamship. It's all about timing when you live here. The other issue is the off-island residents, seasonal residents, are using the fast ferry system constantly when they go back to their other, where they live, or they come back and forth. Kids, I mean, there's a million different reasons why. And the computer system makes it work for families way better than the old days with the paper tickets. So there isn't one answer. It's a whole bunch of different reasons to do this. Volume is the biggest.
I love the idea. It's maintaining capacity on our vessels versus Highline. It's the right thing to do in my mind, but why just 2 or 3 weeks? Why not open it up for a month? You know,
the coupon books are just to begin with, and then there's a discount on the discount.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
On top of it also, it's a window, but the coupon books roughly a 20% discount to begin with.
Yeah, but if the goal is to keep ridership on our vessels,
But at a certain point, if you
where's that break point, right?
You lose like a sense of urgency, like on when you have like say Black Friday, that's from this date to this date, then it ends. If we know it's a outlay, you know, it's a significant outlay of cash for some people.
Yeah.
Not everyone on.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. You know, being the guy that always looks out for the underdog, right? How do we support those people that might not have the cash tomorrow or within this window, but if we extended that period? I love the fact that it's extended another week, but does it hurt to extend for a whole month? I don't know that quite, right?
I think that management's suggestion is pretty good, Eric. I mean,
yeah,
the fact that they're willing to go into the season over a week, to me, is huge. I didn't expect them. I've been around here a long time, so I don't bring stuff up I think they're going to say no to.
Yeah.
So when they say yes to something I think they're going to say no to, that means it's really good. So you just leave it alone. I think what they're doing, they're offering is a great idea.
And looking at this, it may be something that we want to attack in December, possibly at the end of the year before the rates go up, as a way, and it's a gifting as well. Double.
So what Mark is talking about, Eric, what Mark is talking about right now, we have the little thing with the gift cards. So if somebody wants to buy a Christmas present, right? The ticket at that time is more, right? So nobody knows that they got to buy the ticket for the price of the book and have the person they're giving the ticket to under the Christmas tree to do it in the sale is a part of the year. So if we've talked about what Mark just said, that we've never done it, where we've offered the discount just a little while during the holidays so people can buy the actual book for someone if they want to for the price of that year for the next year. That's it. That's Jesus. I didn't think that would come up, but that's another one, another kind of a half a crumb. That one is, but
Part of the reason
that's good.
Because the boat's not in service all year, it's a way to promote the return of the service. It's not a year-round service.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah.
in addition to what Nat said, it's a big tool for us to say the boat is back in service, the high speed is back.
Yeah.
I think a reason why the timing is tied to the return of the vessel.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
So that's it.
Anything else?
Do we need a motion for the modification, or do we want to just include that in the motion?
No, I'll make the motion with the new date. Terrence, I'm voting for a recommendation to approve. Is that right? Because we're not actually approving.
Yeah, so.
All right. So I'll make a motion that the Port Council members recommend approval of 20% discount on the price of electronic passenger ticket books for the high-speed ferry during the period from Sunday, March 22nd, 2026 through Saturday, April 11th, 2026, and allow the general manager flexibility to change the proposed preseason sale dates should the return to service of the MVINO be delayed.
I'll second
Oh,
that.
there you go. Yep. Thanks.
Excellent. All in favor, Rob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Nat?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. I remember that time.
Thank you for this conversation. This is good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Mark?
Good morning, everyone. We've got the business summary for the month of November. Okay, passengers carried for the month of November, both routes combined were down 5.2%, or just over 10,000 passengers. The only category that was up for the month of November was the conventional ferry on the Nantucket route. And as a reminder, again, these are all one-way statistics. Year to date, we're up just under 1% or 0.8%, or 22,679 passengers, with both routes being up. The only category that is down for the passengers is the high-speed ferry. So here's a graph of each month. And that's in the packet. We're going to skip the graphs on the chart today. No problem. So for the passenger vehicles carried for the month of November, on the Vineyard route, we're up about 370 vehicles, or 1%. The standard fares were down, continuing that trend. The Nantucket run, every category was up. And for the month of November, we're up 2.3%, or 973 vehicles. Year to date, we're relatively flat on the passenger vehicles. We're up 0.2%, or 873 vehicles. The Vineyard routes being down. The excursion rate vehicles you can see are up about just over 6,000 vehicles, while the standard fares are down almost 10,000 vehicles. On the Nantucket route, through November, every category is up. And a lot of that has to do, as you mentioned earlier, about on the Nantucket route, with getting the level of service back where it was the previous year.
Yep.
In summertime.
Yep. Mark, should we give everyone a little quick overview of what you just said? Does everyone in the room know what he just said? Probably.
Yep.
Okay. The Woods Hole last summer comparison thing. Okay. Very good.
Okay. So freight vehicles, so we're again relatively flat in the month of November, up 0.2%, or 17 vehicles for both routes combined. The Vineyard route was up 25 vehicles, while the Nantucket route was down 8. Year to date, we're up 0.2%, and 225 vehicles total. Vineyard route's down just under 500 vehicles, while the Nantucket route is up just over 700. And the graphs, they're all in your packet. Unless anyone has any questions. Cars parked, similar to the passengers, we were down for the month of November, 13.4% compared to the same period last year. Both routes were down, and year to date we're down 0.5%, or just under 800 vehicles parked. The Nantucket route's up while the Vineyard route is down. Trip summary, so for the month of November, we had 18 trips canceled for mechanical, 32 for weather, 26 for traffic. We did have 66 unscheduled trips, but those are not scheduled in the approved operating budget. Those are the trips that we run during Thanksgiving. The extra service we provide during that time. Down below, we can see that in green, that the previous year's today's statistics of what percentage of the trips canceled mechanical compared to the line above is what the current year. So for example, this year we have 1.81% trips canceled for weather, but last year at 1.61. More importantly is the mechanicals were down almost 50% compared to the year before, from 0.74 to 0.45. And then buses closed for the year. Trip diversions, we had 42 more trip diversions this year compared to last year.
Thank you, Mark.
And at a high level, Joe, on the embarkation fee, the last 2 years, we averaged for all the boats and all the trips combined by year, roughly about $96 a trip in embarkation fees. But I haven't broken it down by the big boat versus the freight boat.
Okay.
But in generally, it's about, call it $100 on every trip for embarkation fees, on average. Financial snapshot for the month of November, operating revenues of $8,374,000, we're down $256,000. We had other income of $1.6 million. That's comprised of grant revenue and other income. Operating expenses of $11,673,000. We're down below budget by $862,000. Putting this all together, we had a net operating loss of $1,945,000. We originally, that's lower than budget by $585,000, so we came in better than what we expected versus budget. So we had less of a loss, for clarification. Year to date, we're at 15 million net income. We're down below budget by about 300,000. In the month of December, we're budgeted for a loss of about 4.7 million, just to put it in perspective, and we'll come in. If the December numbers came in a budget, we'd be off by 300,000, what originally estimated at this point. Operating revenues, big drivers, the automobile revenue and the passenger revenue, which we saw those statistics being down, and the driver on the automobile revenue is the standard fare. Year to date, you can see we're off 3.2 million on the revenue side at 2.2%. Two categories we talked about all year, the automobile revenue, i.e. standard fare, and the 900,000 in the rent revenue, that's the barges. This month that was better than expected compared to the budget. That's just a breakdown of the revenue, which is in your packet. Operating expenses, big driver there for why we're down 862,000 is the maintenance expense being down 716,000. 446,000 that's due to timing on the Eagle, it's in repair, but there was $560,000 on the Sankaty, which we did not receive any bids for on that dry dock, and so that's money we're going to realize. That's not a timing issue in the 2025 budget. Also, fuel for year to date, we're down about $1.5 million. We budgeted for 315, but year to date it came in at 251. We are hedged through 2026 and looking to start hedging for 2027. Our oil's in the $57 barrel. We've had some political issues that's happened that could drive that price higher, and if we can get that fuel at or below where we budgeted, I think would be a good number. Where it's one of our leading expenses, and if we can get that below inflation, I think that would be a win budgetary wise.
Where is fuel in that? Is it?
That's in the vessel operations.
Don't you normally have that separate, as a separate line?
It's on the income statement separate, but on this, it's in the fuel. So on the third page of the financial statements I send you, okay, it's in that category in vessel operations. Passengers carried for the first 3 weeks of December, we're down 2.3% or just over 2,800 passengers. But year to date, we're still up on just under 20,000 passengers year to date with both routes being up. Total vehicles carried, we're down for the first 3 weeks of December, 326 vehicles with both routes being equally down. That's not a typo, that is true, 163 vehicles for both routes. And year to date, first 3 weeks of December, we're up 772 total vehicles. This includes the freight, the passengers, and ironically, and it's not a typo, the standard for autos in Nantucket are absolutely flat compared to the year before through the first 3 weeks of December. So like anything like that, I always double check.
Yeah, right, exactly, that can't.
Error, but yeah, so with that, I would be happy to answer any questions regarding the business summary.
Great. Questions for Mark? Matt?
Hey, thank you, Mark, for all that stuff. I love this, the Art Flowers report from Mark Rosum. The mechanical cancellation thing, the list, it doesn't, I've never brought this up until just thought of it. We have the INO plugged into that, which I'm not saying shouldn't be, but I think that needs to be, separated a little bit, because the lifeline boats running is a different animal in people's minds, and some of the rhetoric that comes out of different places about this issue. Vineyard had 2, we had 16, but how many was the INO? But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of it's a nuance issue, but it is different. When the INO cancels, which is unfortunate, that is not the same as when a large vessel cancels at all. It's not completely different situation. So I just thought I'd bring that up.
So for 2026, it's okay, I can change the template, and start showing the INO as a separate line item. But that is included on the trip traffic report you get with the monthly financial statements. That each vessel has its own detail.
Yeah.
But I can, the presentation, if it's okay with the Port Council, keep 2025 the way
Yeah,
it is.
no. I'm not saying to change it now. I'm saying it's the same issue we had, Mark, before Zoom. I think this was when we were all, had to separate adding a trip, but we didn't talk about the ones that weren't running. So in other words, when we ran an extra trip, that doesn't mean that we were running extra service with nothing else canceled. The way we were putting it in the system made it look like we were running boats that weren't scheduled and adding more traffic and all that kind of stuff. Remember that? So that was a different era of complaining. We don't talk about that anymore, but that's how we got to the way we separated the unscheduled additional trips versus the consolidation ones. You have to say that, or else nobody will understand that isn't a cancellation. The cancellation is not the same. So these things matter with all the people, picking us to pieces with this stuff. We need to show what the truth is with all this stuff, because we never had to before.
But what I'll do is kind of similar to the Vineyard. I have the Vineyard Haven and Oak Bluffs, and I'll have Nantucket conventional ferry and Nantucket high speed.
Yes.
And then have total. It may change the font.
It's important. It's important.
No,
I tell you right now, if the Eagle was canceled at 8:00 at night, it would be a lot different than a fast boat canceling at 8:15 or 11. Okay.
Yes.
That Eagle doesn't cancel at night unless it's really bad. So that's what I mean when I say lifeline trips, steel boat trips versus fast boat is not the same impact when there's a cancellation.
You'll have it for 2026.
And then the other thing is, Mark, I think I'm right about this, but I just want to ask, when you have the comparisons of the fast boat numbers, is that now aligned without the 730 on the comparison?
It's what actually ran this year compared to
last year. So that should be the same.
You talking traffic or trips?
Traffic.
Traffic is what actually ran this year compared to what actually ran last year.
So then that's aligned then with the same trips. Because we didn't have the 730 that last year either. Okay. It's an apples to apples comparison this time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Year before, 2025, 24 compared to 23 would have been lighter. Because 23 we had it, 24 we didn't.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Great. Set. Thank you, Mark. Any more questions for Mark? All right, moving on. I don't think we have any old business. Any new business?
Two things. First, is there any possibility at some point getting Wi-Fi on the deck of the boats going back and forth to the meeting? I
Joe,
don't think it has it. I can, most of us that travel usually sit on our cars. We don't go upstairs.
that's a Nantucket question, Joe. You have to
Yeah.
you have to tell me you're going to ask a Nantucket question.
Well, I know you brought that up with the Eagle, I think, or one of them when I first
Yep.
got on the boat. Yeah.
Yep.
But is there any possibility of that? Because a lot of us just sit on our cars.
We can look at that and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, and the second one is on the standby. How is that study going?
I love it.
We'll be working on that, that's one of the workshop that we want to bring out, because we'll be ready to present it.
Yeah, I just want to keep it on the agenda. I know Nantucket doesn't have to worry about that, but
And it's unfortunately with the holiday, things are kind of a little bit wonky, being 2 Thursdays in a row, so. But it's definitely something we're gonna be put back on.
I just wanted to keep it
You're talking about the staging offsite.
staging offset.
Right.
And I want to just go ahead, Joe. Sorry. I don't
No,
mean-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
I just want to thank everyone involved with that whole deer pamphlet thing. Just so you know, that was, I just never knew that killing deer was going to be the greatest thing that ever happened. And all of a sudden this is getting blown up and we got to hurry up and do something. I never realized it was so organized. So I appreciate you guys doing what you did with the packet thing with the stuff in it for the hunters coming to the boat. It's a big deal over here. Just a little thank you. Nobody knows anything about it, so.
I did not have that on my bingo card for the day. Yep.
Next item.
Yes. Moving on.
Should have been under old business.
That's right. That's old.
Is it old? Whatever. Sorry.
No, thanks, Matt. No other new business? All right, Sean, I guess we go to public comment.
Okay, if anyone has any public comment, you can hit the raise your hand icon. Amy? Amy, Cody?
Hi. I guess I'm surprised that there has been no discussion at today's Port Council meeting about the recent report from the Office of the Inspector General. I know Nat Lowell said that with people picking you all to pieces now, you need to tell facts and the story a little bit differently. I don't see it as people picking you to pieces. I see it as the Inspector General revealing some serious flaws in oversight and management of not only past projects, but current projects as well. There were a lot of recommendations in the Inspector General report of how the board and the Port Council could conduct themselves differently. And my question is, what are your plans for following the recommendations from the Office of the Inspector General report, the 60-page report that came out on December 18th?
Sure. Amy, I'll take that. So, yeah, so the report came out on the 18th. I know that we all have copies and are reviewing it. I know management and the board is doing the same and will be responding within I believe it's a 30-day window. I think the Port Council stands ready to provide any input both to to management or to the board on that, should they seek it within our remit as an advisory body to both the board and management. So I think that's ongoing. We still have just under a couple of weeks before that deadline happens. I think that work is still underway. So appreciate you bringing it up. I don't think we're avoiding it. I just think we don't want to make a whole lot of comments right now while that work is still underway.
Thank you. I also have one more question about the discounted books. Mark Rosen, do you know what percentage of the books are sold by the discount for Nantucket?
About half.
About half.
I'm sorry?
Sean has the information right in front of him.
Yeah, about half of the yearly sales happen during the preseason promotion period.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mary?
I think that was my name that was called, Mary Musakia. I live in Woods Hole. I just had one question for clarification. When you looked at for the IT project, when you say project sponsor, and I believe it's changed to Mr. Amundsen, is that the individual at the top of the food chain that is really responsible for the entire program, is, for the IT changes? I just wanted to be sure that the nomenclature that I was understanding it, that that's what the project sponsor was. They were over the whole enchilada, so to speak.
That is correct, Mary. Thank you.
Okay, and so then the other question I have, and maybe I missed it, but I thought that there was a request from one of the council members on timeline for completion, the budget for the entire, this is the IT project. And I was wondering if that is going to be made available. I thought I heard that question coming from one of the council members to the gentleman from North Star. And I was wondering if that is going to be presented, because I think he said I've got it in slides or something, and I just didn't see them come up, but maybe I missed it.
I believe we're right now planning to have an IT steering committee meeting on or about the 15th, and I think we'll be, you'll see all that information presented.
So on the slides, it showed that there were some of the contracts yet to be let, et cetera. That, the budget will now include all of that, as well as sort of the timeline to complete the project, if I just heard you right, Mark.
That is correct.
Okay. And then my last question / topic was on the traffic circulation study. And again, I may not have heard it correctly, but there are issues around egress, which anybody who lives in Woods Hole knows there are issues on ingress and egress from the site, and that you all are working with the town. When is that traffic study going to be completed? And would you all consider having a period where there is actually a public meeting to talk about the traffic study at the community hall in Woods Hole? In other words, since the community most directly affected by ingress and egress is that community, would you all consider taking that traffic study when it's done and then holding a public comment period in Woods Hole itself? They never seem to happen there, or at least not for several years anyway. So that's just a request.
We'll take that under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right,
Make a motion.
going once. I will make a motion to adjourn the January 6th meeting of the Port Council.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor, Rob?
You're right.
Eric?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Nat?
Aye.
And Gordon's and I as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Thank you, everyone.